Yes.
Okay, so it means that I can ask you questions
anything
in this. But before we come here,
yes.
The NPP, the NDC, they all have manifestos. And they sell the manifestos to us before we vote them into office. I don't know if you can call this a manifesto anyway.
No.
If
this is a policy framework.
This is a policy framework.
Yeah.
Okay.
That organizes. Okay, carry on.
Okay. What I want to find out from you is that do you foresee the alliance making any meaningful impact, given the fact that a political party that has existed for so many years, like your own, am I right to say former CPP, because you are no longer a member of the CPP, has struggled to even be considered as the third force in Ghana? Do you think that your alliance may make any meaningful impact as far as 2024 elections are concerned?
Yes.
Okay. How?
Definitely. You see, I was explaining to you that we are a country in the process of development. You also have to look at the global trends. Now,
what's happening elsewhere?
You see everywhere that established duopolies are collapsing and independent candidates are emerging. New parties formed are emerging. And if those people who are students of politics, you know, according to Division's law, that in a multi-party democracy, it gravitates towards a duopoly.
Exactly.
And that duopoly becomes stagnant after a period.
Okay.
And no longer responds to the people.
Okay.
And at that point, new entities emerge and a new political landscape is formed. Have we not seen that in our duopoly? It has stopped responding to the people. Have we not been calling for certain things which have not been delivered? So already you see the signs there. And when you look also globally, everywhere you see it in the UK elections, you see it in the, you know, the French elections.
Yeah.
What people are beginning to understand is that farming out my support wholesale to a big party may never get me anywhere. It is better for me to farm it out to a group, are you with me, that believe the same things I believe in and will work for it and will not compromise them and bring it into the center so that we can also get those things fulfilled in the national agenda. So they've lost confidence in that big party movement. And therefore, you're seeing that options are developing. And that is all that we have been working for until now, that we needed an alternative to the NDC MPP. Not because we don't like them at all, but because we believe that that entity that offers that alternative will be able to achieve more than what they are achieving, because it will offer a new opportunity to look at the situation differently and to also adapt to the challenges differently. So that is basically what it is a political evolution. So our whole objective in going from CPP even to NAME to GFC to ARC now is that we have to find that alternative for this generation. Because this successor generation, as we are now, 67 years after independence, if you ask yourself the question honestly, the vision that we had at independence, the drive that was in the First Republic, laying the foundation to achieve what we are supposed to have done by now, have we, the successor generation, played our part? Considering that we had the advantage of better education, we had the advantage of greater numbers, we had the advantage of exposure all over the world, we had the advantage of a greater proportion of youth. Have we, as a successor generation, can we honestly say, when heaven's door open and we meet Papa Nkrumah and all his colleagues, and they ask us, around here, what can you say?
Who will say that
compared to what they achieved? Are you with me? Compared to what they achieved.
Yeah.
So we as a successor generation have to take the matter more seriously and leave the partisan politics behind and begin to look for real alternatives. And for me, that is one of the key things about this great transformation plan. Because in joining the groups to work with it, I realized that this was not just one group of people. These were groups of people, experts from across the political terrain. And their only objective was, what is the problem facing us? And how can we put together our thoughts to present a real, credible solutions that will be alternatives to what we have now? If you don't have that alternative to offer, then don't take part in the election and waste people's time. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that we are clear that if Ghanaians are looking for an alternative to runaway inflation, runaway interest rates, high debt to GP ratio, a constricted economy, more or less collapsed businesses, then this is the business that we should be looking at now, the Great Transformation Plan, because it addresses all those issues and it gives us an opportunity for a new start.
Okay, so interesting. Although for Dr. Michael Abu Sakara Foster a member of the Alliance for Revolutionary Change. Am I right?
That's correct.
Okay. ARC. That's how you abbreviate it.
That's correct.
Okay. Your name is nice. Alliance for Revolutionary. You see, normally when you hear the word revolution, people have in mind that you are coming to do some, some things. Are you promising us that is not what you are coming to do?
Well, you see, the stages of reform that lead to revolution, are you with me, are threefold. First, you have to be aware there's a problem.
Okay.
You have to be willing to correct it. And having got the correct solution, you have to be able to convince the general public to embrace it. So that is a revolution.
So is there a problem?
Of course we have problems.
Okay. So what are some of the problems?
Firstly, as a nation, we have identified political problems, social problems, and economic problems. Okay. Right now, this economic problems that are troubling us, we all know. Standard of living, cost of living has gone very high, so high that it has lowered the standard of living of people across the board. People
across the world?
Yes, people across the board.
Across the board. But that's global.
No.
That's global because I can cite many examples and instances. Okay.
Yeah. I'm talking about what is happening now in Ghana.
Okay.
People who were very wealthy have had their wealth reduced significantly. Okay. So their disposable income, they don't dispose of it so quickly. And even some of their money is locked up in the debt exchange. They cannot get it out. They're not getting interest on it. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Then you have the middle income group, where the cost of living has gone up more than fourfold compared to their income. So now they're having to reduce on things that they used to afford.
Okay.
Are you with me?
That is individuals.
Yes, individuals.
Yeah.
Everybody that is listening to me knows this in their house. You don't have to go to Harvard Business School to know this.
Of course.
Are you with me?
Of course.
And then, on top of that, the people at the bottom have been squeezed so much that the value of their money is now almost worthless because they cannot buy even the things that they were able to buy.
Okay.
So all these things together are telling you that we have a crisis. And as if that was not enough, the high level of indebtedness of the country, which we all now know is way above what it used to be. We have this argument. We know that the total debt has more than quadrupled. Are you with me? And we know that the debt to GDP ratio has gone very high. Never before have we got to over 100. And now it's coming back down. It's around 76, somewhere like that. Okay. Are you with me? Our interest rates have increased. When you look at the structure of the economy, they're only coming down because of injections of loans.
So it's cosmetic.
As soon as that
you,
is over,
you think the drastic change is cosmetic?
It's not coming from productivity.
Okay.
If you've squeezed all the businesses, they've cut, downgraded. It's coming from injection from outside. So as soon as that effect wears off, it will shoot up again. So it's not a permanent measure. So this basic crisis that we are in requires drastic measures. And that is why in the Great Transformation Plan, we talk about reform, reset, and restore the
Reform,
nation.
reset.
Reform, reset, and restore the nation. Yeah.
That sounds beautiful.
Well,
Reform,
it's very pragmatic.
Reset,
Yes.
and then
Restore.
restore.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you know, what we need is an alternative path to the one we are on.
No, because alternatives are always good for us.
Yes. The path we are on now is a path of prosperity for a few at the expense of the many. And, you know, it is very easy in the capitalist world to say that, oh, private sector is the driver of the economy.
Engine of
Let
growth and all those things.
everybody for himself, God for us all. But that always results in a very few people having all the wealth and the majority of the people having inequitable wealth, very low levels. It is not a magic, are you with me? It's not a magic solution because the result is always the same. It is much more difficult to push a development agenda where you're building the middle sector, the middle class up and expanding it, and life is getting better as you lift the people from the bottom into the middle class. You're not stopping the people at the top from going. They can go wherever their resources and ability take them. But that approach is much more difficult.
Okay.
And that requires a much more comprehensive and strategic management of the economy, where you have to look at the clusters that are going to drive growth, those that are going to be providing services, and balance them, because we can only give as much services as we can generate money. And our first priority would be to generate income. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Because that is what we do in our households. You don't go spending, you know, your salary on things that will not bring you money.
Exactly.
Yeah. So this is what we have done in this book. And this is why we are confident that when Ghanaians hear these alternatives, that we're not just providing a list of promises in manifestos, are you with me? That we have got a comprehensive plan that is well structured, that looks at critical areas, that has priorities, and that lists the priorities in a cohesive way, and provides interventions that will drive the economy and also provide some services to people. When you see that compared to a list of promises, you will know that there's a difference. Today, I'll mention this because you talked about it.
Yeah.
I was asked by one of the TV stations about the comment that was made on the presentation of the Vision 2050, the NDPC, National Development Planning Commission.
Yeah.
They made a vision for
Yeah.
2050, which they presented. It was accepted, and a statement was made that, well, this is good. Are you with me? We accept it, but you know, people must still have their party manifestos. Nobody at any time said that people shouldn't have party manifestos. What we're saying is, let's have a long-term national development plan that is the policy framework with key goals and targets that are appropriate for every stage of our development for a long period.
Okay.
Then within those segments, are you with me?
Yeah.
You can derive your party manifesto, but align it for that 4-year period you are talking about.
Wonderful.
Don't go plucking oranges when the tree is not yet ripe. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So align it there, and then we can compare who has aligned themselves best with this, and who will give us the most achievement of the targets. Basically what we're saying, and what we're saying is that that alignment must be mandatory. Are you with me? In other words,
Yeah.
for you to qualify to even participate in the election,
Yeah.
we must first see that you have aligned your manifesto to that long-term national development plan, the segment for which we are now talking about, and that you show how those things are going to be achieved. And to a large measure, this is what the Great Transformation Plan is doing. Are you with me? It's not just making promises. It is telling you how it is going to be done.
Okay, so have you yourself, you have seen the plan, the NDPC plan?
Yes, I have a copy of
Okay,
it.
so will you tell us that what is contained there, or this was designed before they presented the plan?
This was designed before they presented
Okay,
it.
so are you going to, you know?
But let me say one thing.
Okay.
You see, for a developing nation, the things you have to do are not so different because you're building the foundation of the nation. Are you with me? The question is the order of priority and the scope. Are you with me? And where you put your emphasis. So what we are saying is that because those things are fairly basic, we have anticipated a lot of them and have put them in here. Are you with me?
Okay.
I don't think that if you looked at that document and looked at this document, there will be such a huge difference. The difference will come in the interventions to achieve things.
Okay.
Where we say, in order to do this, we must do this first. And that means that whereas that long-term plan may set goals and certain targets for certain stages of development, it is you to determine how that will be done. And within the resources that we have available.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Okay.
Yeah. So that is the approach we are advocating. But the key point we are saying is that it should not be optional, where you can say, no, me, I don't want to do it. I'll have my own.
You have no option than to stick to it.
Yes.
Okay.
And people will say, but why? I said, when you go to sit WASI exam, do you go with your own exam paper?
No.
Are you with me?
Yeah.
You can choose which questions you want to answer.
Yes.
And you will answer the same questions, number of questions as other people.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we all get different marks.
Okay.
And the avoidance of this issue of a long-term national development plan is simply because people don't want to be held to account.
Okay.
That this was the segment, the work you were supposed to have done, are you with me? And you haven't done it. Where's the balance? That is the real issue we are having. Because other than that, all the people that we are admiring every day, you say Malaysia, Singapore, all these places, they all have these long-term national development plans, and they follow them.
Yes.
So why are you different?
And it's helping them.
Why are you different? And what you have been doing, has it helped you? Are you with me?
Okay. Doc, to be fair, the climate change,
Yes.
trade fragmentation, surging financial stress, the China economic slowdown, rising geopolitical tensions and all that have contributed to the world economic crisis that we all talk about, and Ghana is part of it. Would you agree and accept that the problems you are going through as a country is also as a result of all these things I've mentioned?
You see, in this life, there's never black and white alone.
Okay.
Are you with me? Nobody is saying that Ghana did not suffer the effects of COVID.
Okay.
Neither are we saying that Ghana is not part of the global, economic framework. What we are saying is that our response to it, are you with me, has worsened our woes, not improved them.
Okay.
At the time that COVID came, even before COVID, and America was having this economic crisis, what were they doing? They were lowering interest rates, causing money to come in so that they could increase the fiscal space and get people working.
Okay. And what were we doing here?
You were doing the reverse.
Okay. Increasing interest rates.
You were increasing interest rates and tightening up. Are you with me? So basically killing the goose that lays the golden egg. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So what other result do you expect? Are you with me?
Yeah.
And then we have to also accept that, yes, it's good to borrow. Nobody says you shouldn't borrow money. It's good to borrow. But at the end of the day, when you borrow too much and you don't use it for the purpose for which you're supposed to use it for, and it is not invested in areas of growth which are generating money, or it has largely, a significant percentage of it has been mismanaged, the day of payment will come where we will all face the music. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, these factors have contributed. Let's look at the stabilization fund, which people came and met. Where is it? Wouldn't that have been good for us for a rainy day when we were desperate? Are you with me?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying this with respect to this government alone.
Yeah.
Even the 2 funds that Atamil set up from the oil, what happened to them? Before they even went out of power,
Yeah.
people started sucking from them into the main economy.
Exactly.
And if those things are kept for a rainy day, are you with me?
Yeah.
When we have problems, then we can bring them in. And that is why we are saying in this document that we will work to generate a sovereign fund, a sovereign wealth fund. And that sovereign wealth fund will primarily be generated from ensuring that we have a greater percentage of our natural resources. We will no longer be accepting 3%, 4%. No. We have to have at least 30%. Are you with me? So that will increase our wealth, and we can put that money aside so that when we go into stormy weather, we know where we are going to get our support from.
Okay.
Or when we have opportunities to invest in new areas, we can, even if we don't have the technology and the skills, we can go and hire somebody to build it. Are you with me?
Exactly.
And then when it's done, we will pay
the
him
person and just,
you know. But you cannot go and get your blocks, etc., get a mason to build a house, and then you become a tenant in the house.
No. Your background is agriculture.
Of course.
Am I right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so because of time, I want us to focus
Sure.
today
Yes.
on the